Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. We're about to get started on our anxiety webinar. I'm just going to give people a couple minutes to get situated. I know the prompt start at 1:30 is a little much for some people, so I'm just going to give a little bit of time. While we're waiting to get started on this topic, this is actually the first of 3 webinars that we are going to be doing for the Steps to a Stress-Free Summer series. So this one is the very first one talking about anxiety. The second one is going to be headaches, and the third one is going to be about stress. So tune in if those sound interesting to you. I do have a link in our information on this video that you can see the other webinars that are coming up. You can read a little bit more about what's going to be covered, as well as RSVP so that you can get the information sent to your inbox, or you can tune in live. Also, if you have questions, feel free to write a comment. I will be checking that during the video. I will try to answer it live. If I'm not able to, I will absolutely get an answer to you. And let's get started. It's a little bit after 1:30. So I am Dr. Monica of Revival Chiropractic. I am one of the doctors here. And this is really a series that I've been super excited to get started with because it's near and dear to my heart. It's actually kind of ironic. I was getting ready for this anxiety webinar, and I was telling my fiance, I was like, why do I have so much anxiety? Like, what are the odds that I'm anxious as I'm getting ready for an anxiety webinar? But you know what? I am human just like you, and this is something that I personally struggle with, as well as headaches and just chronic stress. So this series is really going to be amazing, and honestly, today I'm going to share what my anxiety kicker is and what action step that you can take to kick anxiety as well. So let's just dive into this super common issue and give you the tools that you need to overcome it. So anxiety is actually the most common mental illness in the United States. 40 million adults struggle with anxiety annually, and 1 in 8 kids have anxiety. That's way too many in my opinion. And women, unfortunately, are twice as likely to have anxiety than men. My question to all of that is why? So since anxiety is one of the top concerns that so many people struggle with and deal with, I wanted to share some of the things that we really commonly hear in our office when patients come to see us. We hear about tension and pain in the body. This could be in the same spot, different spots. A lot of the times it's in people's neck and shoulders that they just feel this overwhelming tension that's just stuck there. They feel constantly on high alert, trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. I know I am guilty of this. I will wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and my mind is going to be racing of 100 things that I either forgot to do, need to do, or want to do. And then I sit there and think about how am I going to get all that stuff done? It is stressful. Winding down is hard. A lot of people realize they're just like, oh, I'm just so tense that like when it's time for me to just chill, I can't. That sense of impending doom, chest tightness, headaches, brain fog, trouble focusing, fatigue, feeling on edge or irritable, and that restlessness feeling. Did you know that in a study done on 128 kids that 74% of them said that their top symptom of anxiety was restlessness? That's actually the most common symptom for kiddos. So even though adults are able to verbalize more on what they're feeling and going through and can say, yep, this is anxiety, for kiddos, it's a lot harder for them to verbalize, oh, is this anxiety? Am I scared? Like, it's really hard for them to differentiate, but it doesn't make it any less important. So for kids, they're really stuck in this mental, emotional, fear-based pattern. So what that could look like for them is they can't be around noises. If something is loud or unusual, they'll cover their ears, or they just won't go near it at all. They just seem tense. Those kids that you're like, wow, loosen up. That can be pent-up stress and anxiety and tension in their body. They're nervous, they're anxious, and they don't want to go new places, and they might even have a meltdown. This is something that we're hearing so often, especially now that it's summertime. Parents want their kids to be in activities and sign up for summer camps and just do all these really fun, awesome things while they're not in school. Well, if your kiddo is struggling with anxiety, what we hear is, yeah, well, I tried to bring them there. They were fine the first day, and then the second day, they absolutely wanted nothing to do with it. I tried to bring them anyways, and total meltdown, so we just went home. That is so stressful, not only for kiddo, but for parents. So I want to go into why is this happening, especially in kiddos and adults, and what is it related to? Well, studies have shown that anxiety is tightly related to stress. And there are three main types of stress. So we have emotional, physical, and chemical. Physical stress is what we put our body through. These activities or little micro traumas that we do for our bodies can really pattern it for stress. So one of the most common things we see in adults and kiddos is their posture of their neck and shoulders. I'm going to call it text neck because that's what a lot of people have heard. So that's where you're looking down at your phone, you're arching your shoulders forward, and you're just stuck in this forward flex position. That can be super, super stressful for your body. The second stressor is that chemical. So that is nutrition, medications, our hormones. That is a huge factor, especially for women, which is possibly why we're 2 times as likely to struggle with anxiety than men. The third stressor is emotional. Anxiety itself stresses our body out. So it's almost a vicious cycle that you're stressed, so it causes anxiety. Anxiety happens, and then it loops right back to stress. So you just loop around constantly, and it's really hard to get out of that cycle. Our inner dialogue is super important. How do you talk to yourself? Our lifestyle, and then our relationships with our friends, family, and community. So why does stress impact us so much and cause anxiety? Well, the body is designed naturally to adapt to stress. However, the body has a limit, pretty much like anything. There's a limit to how much you can lift or carry or do in a day. Well, that's exactly what our body does with stress. There's that limit. When stress continues to pile it on and your body can't adapt to it as quick as it's happening, then something has to give at some point. The result of that, once that limit is met, is that the body and brain go into a state of overwhelm. This is called sympathetic dominance. You're probably like, okay, what does that mean? Well, there's 2 parts of the nervous system. We have the sympathetic side, which is fight or flight, go, go, go state. You really want that one to kick on if you see a bear in the woods and it starts running at you. You need to either get ready to fight it or run away. The second part of the nervous system is the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the healing, resting, digesting state. This is what downgrades stress in our body. Well, we want these 2 symptoms or these 2 sides of the nervous system to be in a state of balance. You want the body to go from fight or flight when it needs to into healing, resting, and digesting, but you also want it to be in the midline most of the time with the ability to flow naturally between the 2. When our body exceeds its stress limit, we get stuck in that fight or flight sympathetic side, which amplifies the stress that we experience every single day. So this is a vicious cycle, like I said. We're stuck in a stress response, and our body has to act like it's constantly fighting or getting ready to run from something. So it has to start protecting itself from that chronic stress cycle. When that happens and we're stuck in that sympathetic dominance, we have to kick in the lines of defense. The very first line of defense is the nervous system. We live our entire life through our nervous system. Everything we see, smell, taste, hear, touch has to be perceived through the nervous system. Well, the nervous system is also what controls everything in our body. Our organs, cells, tissues, every action we do, things that we don't even think about, our nervous system is just doing. Well, when that system is out of balance, everything else has to follow suit. Being out of balance causes a disruption on how our body perceives the environment, so perceives what's around us, coordinates everything that happens in our body, and then how our body behaves. So that would be like the kiddo that hears loud noises and freaks out because, oh my gosh, this is scary, it's loud, it gives me anxiety. So the body is perceiving it differently, which causes the coordination internally to go off, and then the behavior comes out as anxiety or meltdown. The next line of defense I'm going to talk about is the neuroendocrine connection. So when the body is maxed out on stress, it calls in the endocrine system for help. This system produces our hormones and our adrenaline, so our natural fight or flight need hormone in our body. So the top glands in our system that get engaged are the adrenals and the thyroid. This is the big player on why it's so much more prevalent in women, because when the body is out of balance, it calls in the forces for extra support. So your endocrine system starts working overtime, trying to keep up with all the stress that is just piling onto your system. Eventually, those big players, the adrenals and the thyroid, are going to get fatigued. With women, we also have that extra hormonal factor with our cycles. When the body is in this fight or flight, maxed out, stressed out spot, it drastically impacts the production of our cyclical hormones as well. There is a lot going on when we get stuck in a stress pattern. I would love to go more into this, but actually in 2 weeks, I'm going to be going more into really what happens internally in our body with chronic stress. And that is going to be in 2 weeks with our stress and steps to stress-free summer webinar. So tune into that one if this is of interest to you. So when the body is out of balance, it creates more stress on the system, and our body just continues to overload and pump out hormones to get the body to work against that overload of stress. Well, one thing that we notice in our office is that anxiety is really a mental and emotional expression of a nervous system being out of balance. That means that we notice that when people come in, that they're stuck in that stressed out state. This is called dysautonomia. This causes the body to just lose control of how it's functioning internally. So the body literally has been maxed out and it's going haywire. So you're probably wondering, why the heck is a chiropractor talking to me about this? Well, we're really unique in what we do in our office. We do state-of-the-art scanning technology, which gives us a snapshot of the stress load that's currently on your body and where the tension and stress is stuck in your body. It also tells us if your body is in that fight or flight sympathetic overdrive, or if you're able to go between the two like you're supposed to. This allows us to really hone in on your body's needs and adjust exactly where your body needs. Second is that we adjust. Our adjustments are not only safe, effective, and gentle, but they influence the nervous system, which is amazing. So they allow the body to release the stuck tension and stress. And with time and consistency, the nervous system moves out of that sympathetic dominance into that resting, digesting, healing downgrade to stress, parasympathetic mode, allowing you to heal internally, which helps with anxiety. The beautiful thing is that when people start care, anxiety is one of the first symptoms to go away. One of our favorite things is a lot of people don't know that chiropractic can influence anxiety. So people don't even tell us. Sometimes we advise that you do though. And it's amazing that they'll come and tell us like, I never told you I had debilitating anxiety. I would get nervous stomach. I would have chest tightness. I would get shakes. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd panic and I'd leave. And then they'd come to us like, I haven't had that since I started care. That's amazing. Mind you, we are not treating the anxiety. We are treating the root cause, which is a stressed out, maxed out nervous system that is throwing the body out of balance. So I'm going to give you my anxiety kicker and your action step. It is one thing. Get scanned and get adjusted. This is what I go to, and I'm actually looking forward to it today because I told you that I was having anxiety before starting this webinar, that when you get adjusted, it instills calm into the body, and then it brings that body out of that fight or flight stressed out state into that resting, digesting, healing, and allows your body to truly heal from the inside out. These scans tell us if this is what's been going on in your body. In my experience, people that have had anxiety have tried everything. You have been to doctors, you've tried the medications, you've been to therapy, you've done the meditation, you have the essential oils, the supplements, the herbs. But there's a reason you're still watching this webinar. It's because there's some missing link that you haven't found yet and that you're looking for. These scans could be that missing link. And you deserve to find out if that's what it is. So my advice is to come to us or find a chiropractor that does those scans. You deserve to figure out if this could be why anxiety is standing in the way of you or your child living the life that you want to live. So that is it for our webinar today. I really hope you learned a lot. If you do have any questions, I did put our contact information in our info for this video. There's our email, our phone number. If you have questions or if you want to come in and get scanned to see if this has been the missing link for you, we are here for you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you the next 2 weeks for our headache webinar next week, Tuesday, and then in 2 weeks for our stress webinar. It's going to be a good one. See you then. Bye, guys.